Hello guys, good evening. Good evening and welcome to our live class for tonight. So I just want to say thank you as you guys are coming up, joining the stream. I don't want to waste time. I don't want to start waiting. So as you guys come up, you will join the stream and you will see what we have done, okay? So thank you so much for those of you that are, as you guys are coming, you're welcome. Good evening and welcome to today's class. Yes, welcome to today's class. Okay, so today, I'm just going to place my lines. So this is the first line. So let me show you guys what we're going to be doing before we continue. Okay, so let's see. Okay, yes. So this is what we're going to be learning how to cut. Good evening. This is what we're going to learn how to cut tonight. Okay, you can see it is a princess dart, but it is a plunging neckline. So in case you don't want to learn a plunging neckline, you can still learn the princess dart. Okay, good evening. For those of you that are just joining us, good evening. Let's see. I Francisca, thank you so much. Solange, good evening. You're welcome. Juliana, thank you so much. Let's see. Okay. Sabina. Sabina. Well, I hope I pronounced that properly. So, guys, so now we're going to start. So, you guys should just, yes, thank you so much. Be greeting, drop your messages. So, once I lift up my head, I'm going to respond. Okay, I appreciate all of you guys. So, this is my pattern paper on the table. I hope you guys can see the table. Okay. So, the next thing I am trying to do, I hope my lighting is okay. I hope it's not falling. See, so I'm just trying to adjust it nicely. I think this is okay. The table is okay. I hope the light is not too much. You guys should let me know. So let's see. Thank you, Solange. Juliana, thank you. Good evening. Chikezie. Helene, thank you so much. Good evening. All right, guys. So let's get started. So the first thing, so like I normally tell you guys, if you know you want to improve your pattern drafting skills in this thing called fashion, this stylish Naija, our live streams are like your best to go place. Okay, so you can join and then from here you learn properly how to draft patterns. So after all of this, pattern is not going to be a problem for you. So the first line we have, that's our shoulder line. So from the shoulder line, we're going to take a bust point line, which is 10. That's the nipple point. And then we're going to take the under bust, which is 13. And then we're going to take the half cut. So for the half cut, we're going to use 18 inches, okay? So those lines, I am going to connect those lines. So I'm drafting the back first. So this is the back of my pattern. So I'll connect all of the lines. For those of you that are beginners that are wondering, just follow, you will see everything. So this is our bust point, which you call the nipple point. This is the under bust, and then here is the waist, okay? So the next thing you want to do, you want to come to the shoulder line, and then you want to measure your shoulder measurement. So for the shoulder measurement, we want to use 14. So you divide 14 into 2, you're going to have 7. So you add half inch, okay? So let me put on my glasses so that I can be reading your comments, okay? Thank you, Marvelous. Thank you so much, Marvelous. You're welcome. All right, so from that point, you're going to come down by 1 inch, and then from that 1 inch, you're going to connect that 1 inch to that neckline point. So you remember this is our shoulder line, okay? So the next thing we want to mark, so by the way, the measurement we're making use of, our bust is 36, okay? Our under bust is 30, the waist is 34. So these are the measurements we're making use of. Three simple measurements, okay? Three simple measurements. So the next thing now, for us to get our round armhole, you are going to divide your bust circumference by 6 and then add 1.5. Okay, so when I do that, I'm going to have 7.5 inches. So that's it. And then that 7.5, from that 7.5, I am going to mark that 7.5 this way. That's, I'm going to connect it this way, and then I'm just going to create a curve. Okay, so like I said, this is my back pattern. The next thing I want to do, I want to take my full body measurement. That's how simple this is. So for me to take my full body measurement, I am going to divide my bust circumference by 4, which is 9 inches, and then I'm going to add 3 inches to it. That 3 inches, 1 inch is for my that, and then 1 inch is for my stitching allowance. Okay, and then I'm going to come to the under bust part. So for my under bust is 30, divide by 4. Okay, so when I divide that, which of the light is so white? Thank you, Sean. So the next thing we want to do, we want to add our bust, under bust, which is 7.30 divided by 4, 7.5, and then we'll add our 1 inch for that, and then 2 inches chin allowance. Okay, so those lines, I'm going to connect them. So for those of you that have been following me, you find that most times when I'm doing princess that, I usually don't like doing my back piece as a princess that. I like to do it as a shoulder. Okay, but notwithstanding, let's just continue. And then my bust second, my waist, sorry, is 34 divided by 4, which is 8. And then I am going to add my 1 inch for that, and then 1 inch for my stitching allowance. So I'll connect it this way. The next thing we want to do now, I want to take out our dart. Okay, so for the darts, we're going to use our nipple to nipple measurement, which is 8 inches. So that's from one nipple point to the other is 8 inches. All right, so 8, what is on the top? Thank you, all the best. Well done. So use nipple to nipple, which is 8. I'll divide that into 2. So I'm going to have 4 inches. So the 4 inches, I'm going to mark the 4 inches across all of my lines. Okay, and then when I mark it across all of my lines, I'm going to have something looking like this. And then the next thing I want to do, since we are doing a princess dart, I'm just going to come to this point like this. I'll mark half of what I have. That's like from here. You remember our 7.5. So I'm just going to take the mid. But if, in case you cannot gauge it, you can just bend your tape like this and then place it. So that will give you the midpoint. Okay, so from that point, I am just going to measure. Like I said, I usually don't like, but most times once I'm doing this, I'll just use this classic princess dart pattern. That's what I normally use for my back piece. I And then the next thing I want to do, remember, I so from this part, most times what I normally do, I will just extend, I'll just extend this a little bit and then just cut this. Okay, I usually don't like take out any dart or whatever for the back piece. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, but if you want to take out that, here's what you are going to do. But most times I usually don't do that, so let me just teach you what I do, what I use. And then from this point, I'm just going to extend this. Just a little bit of extension is okay for me, and then I'm just going to curve that. Okay, so like I said, most times I usually don't use this. What I normally do, let me show you what I normally do. I'm going to come, I will just mark it like this. Once I mark it like this, that's just like to get just like the line. And then I'm going to come to this part. I'll take out my 1 inch. That's my half inch. And then I'm just going to connect that into this point like this. Okay, so now the reason for this is just for, so I actually took out my dart from this part, so I actually did not take anything from here, you understand. So I'll just extend this a bit once I cut. So that's it. So for the neckline, so but if you want to do this, you can go ahead and do that, but like I said, I usually don't do it. That's just it. So the next thing, except maybe the client insist, but even if they insist, I usually tell them, I just do my princess dart at the front, but for the back I'm just going to do my normal waist dart, and then I'll just extend it, just give it like an extension, just connect it to this back and just cut it off. Okay. Okay. So the next thing I want to do, I want to take out my neckline for my back. So I'll use 3.5 inches, and then for the back, 3.5 inches by 2.5 inches. Okay. So I'm just going to connect that like that. So that's for my neckline. So this is all for our back piece. Can you see? This is all we need for our back piece. So I'm just going to keep this, and then let's do come to the main event, like my children will say. For those of you, those people that I used to watch wrestling, you understand when it's a main event. From my children's mouth, my son's mouth, I used to hear that one say, "Mommy, this one is the main event." I say, "Which one is main event?" Tell you the main event in the wrestling. Okay, so that's that. So we have our shoulder line. So now we are starting. So for those of you that have not liked this video, you push you please like the video. Yeah. See this when you come to the okay, before we go to the main event, okay, what is it? What's your question? Okay, marvelous. What's your question? So while she's typing her question, so just check this side. You're going to see three dots. Click it. You see the button to like the video. Please like the video. Okay. Thank you so much. Hello, Strictly Dishes. Thank you. God bless you for joining. So you guys should. Okay. So marvelous. Please drop your question. Okay. Drop your question. Let me see. I'm waiting. Oh, so before that, so like I said, I don't want to waste so much time. So while you are dropping your question, let me be marking my pattern. So from the shoulder, we're going to come down by 10 inch. That's our bust point. And then from that point, we'll come down by 13, which is our under bust. And then we are for this, I am thinking, no, I'm not going to add any side dart. So let's just do 18 inches, which is the half cut. Okay. Most times I just like, okay, so I'm just going to connect those lines. So I'll connect the lines straight. I would connect them like that. Okay, so like I said, if you want your pattern drafting to be very good, okay, so let's see, you've dropped your question. Okay, Marilyn said, okay, you say your measurement ends at the hip. How do you do it since you said it's just three measure? Yes, now it's three measurements. Now my three measurement ends at the waist. You understand? Okay, okay. Mm, that is your half length is stopping at the hip, making your measurement four, not three. I did not my what I have here is actually three. Okay, I did not count the shoulder line to it. I just counted the measurement that I counted. I counted the bust point, the under bust, and then the waist. So this waist is half cut also. You can call it half cut, you can call it waist, you understand? So, but if I add my shoulder measurement, it's going to be four. Then if I want you to stop at my hip line, so that's going to be 20. I can use 24. You understand? If it is a full blouse, I can use 24. So that 24, when I add that one, I'm going to have five measurements. Okay. So why I said three was that I just like remove the shoulder. Like shoulder is a little bit like negligible, so that is why. Okay. Okay. The half length is not stopping at the hip line. You understand? It's stopping at the waistline, like the belly button area. Let me show you. You can see. Can you see? You see where the half length is stopping? It's stopping at the belly button area. That's on top of this point here. So most times when you are making a dress that has half cut, use your belly button area. That's what will give it that perfect fit, okay? But if it is a full straight blouse, so that is when you will come down to like 24. So most times that belly button area differs for individuals. At times it could be 18, it could be 19, you understand? But for people that are tall, it could be 19. But most times if you don't have somebody, like maybe your the person is not here, you can just use 19. It works fine. But that's assumption though. But in the case of nothing, you can do that. Okay, so what's the message that was said for review? Let's see. You, I hope I've answered your question. So let's continue. All right. So the next thing we want to do, let's go. So the light that is shining, not shining well. Okay, so the next thing we want to do, we want to mark our shoulder measurement. Like I said, which we're using 14 divide by 27, divide by 27, yes. And then we'll add 1 inch. And then from that 1 inch, we're going to come down by, that's from the extra inch, we're going to come down by 1 inch. Please, if is that okay? I hope I've been able to answer the question before we continue. So the next thing we want to do, so now we've connected that measurement to the neck. We've connected it to the, all right, okay. One person said no. The person that asked the question said yes. Bunny face, you said no. No, what is it? Did you ask a question? Did I miss something? Bunny face, let's see. Blessing. Okay, you're asking what we're making. We're making a princess that blouse. So I'm showing you guys how to cut a princess dart, how to draft it, okay? So now we have connected the shoulder. So we have all of our points. So now we're taking half of our measurement. Remember our bust is 36, our under bust is 30, the waist is 34, okay? So now we're using 7.5, just like we did initially. We'll mark the 7.5 and then I'm going to connect that. Okay, just connect it, okay? I missed a little spot. So the next thing, I'm going to check half of what I have. I'll just come in and then create a curve, okay? So I'll just create a curve. I'll create a curve. So the next thing we want to do now, let's go and then mark all of our lines. So we're using our 4.54 inches, sorry. That's the nipple to nipple is 8. So we're using 4 inches. So we're just marking it, okay? So we'll mark those lines and then we're going to connect it like this, okay? And then you are going to come to the under bust measurement. Depends on how many inches you want to use for our princess dart. Okay, so for our princess dart, let's use 2.5 inches. So I'll mark 2 inches to my right, and then that half inches, I'm going to put it on this left hand side, okay? So when I put that half inches on that left hand side, I'm going to connect those lines like this, okay? So let's see. Okay, so you don't understand. Okay, okay, Boniface. Okay, that's what. Okay, sorry. Okay, so you have. I hope now you are just joining. Now we're still in the beginning. So we just marked our lines now. So we're trying to create the princess dart. So we just marked our shoulder line, our bust line, our under bust, and then our waist. Okay, and then from here we're using 2.5 inches for our dart. So I'll take 2 inches to the right and then half inch to the left, okay? So that's all that we have done. So the next thing, I'm going to connect this line, this my princess, this line like this. Okay, before then, I'm just going to extend this line up a little bit, okay? I'll extend that line and then I'm going to connect this bust line. That's the 2 inches that I'll connect it to that bust point. Can you see? And then this one, this half inch here, this small tiny half inch also, you're just going to create a curve. Can you see? You just create a curve for it. Can you see? So the next thing we want to do, most times this is what I always like to remember this part. That was why emphasis on it. I'm just going to create a curve like this. Do you understand? Can you see what I just did? It was a simple process. I just curved that into this part. But if you notice that this part is a little bit straight, okay? So I'm just going to just like blend. Can you see? I'll blend it. So once I finish blending, the next thing we want to take out our dart. So we want to take out 2 inches. So from that point, you are going to come down by 2 inches like this, okay? So when you come down by 2 inches, here is your target. You understand? So once you okay, let's use most times I like to use my broken lines. Can you see? You see, you see the curve, you see how beautiful the curve is. So now after that, the next thing you're going to do, you're going to use your pattern curve to create a beautiful curve. So make sure that no part is pointing. Okay, just make sure. So this part was that part I used for my dart. So you need a curve so that it will, you understand, so just curve it out that way. So you can use 1.5 inch. So the next thing now, we want to extend this is our former armhole. We're not going to make use of it again, please note. So this you remember is 2 inches that I took, but most times once I'm doing my princess that I'll add 2.25. It has really helped me a whole lot, like a whole lot. It has helped me. Okay, I'll add 2.25. I don't want to use 2 inches, so I'm just going to use my broken lines to that point, and then from there I'm going to create a new armhole. So why did I use 2.25? That it actually helps to stop it from truncating. Most times before you know it will get shortened, and that will be an issue. Can you see? You see how beautiful the dart is. So let's see. Okay. All right, so the next thing we want to do now, we want to take out our full body measurement. So our full body measurement, our bust is 36 divided by 4. We have 9. And then remember our intake. Remember our dart scheme. So from that point, that's our 2 inches for our dart, and then we're just going to add our stitching allowance. So for that stitching allowance, I'll add just like half inch or 1 inch, okay? And then I'm going to come to my under bust, which is 30 divided by 4. I have 7.5. I'm going to add my two. Sorry. Our dart is 2.5 inches, please. Remember, it's 2.5. We took half on this side, okay? So 2.5 is here, and then I'm going to add my stitching allowance. Please note that. So for this, our 1.5, and then we're going to add our 2.5 for that, and then I'll add our 1 inch for stitching allowance. I'll come to the waist, which is 34, divide by 4, which is 8.5, and then we'll add our 2.5 inches that, and then add our stitching allowance, okay? So once we are done, we're going to connect those lines like this, okay? You see, it is a simple process. So now we're connected. We have our blouse. The next thing now for us to do that plunge is a simple process, okay? Can you see the plunge? This one is really plunging. Okay, so it's a simple process. Remember the back, we use 3 inches. When you want to do this kind of neckline, you don't need to make it too wide, or else it will start falling out. So we're using 3 inches width. So this is our 3 inches. The next thing, if you notice, this is under bust, like it came to like the under bust, okay? So that's where that V got to. So we already marked that. So this is the under bust here. So from that under bust, we could use our pencil. So most times that is what, so you can see the way I'm placing my pattern curve. Can you see? So from that point, because I don't want, if you notice, it is not a wide, it's not really a wide neckline from that down. Can you see? It's a simple process. If you don't want it to be this long, so just give it a curve. If you notice, it has one kind of curve down there. So just give it that beautiful curve at that under bust and just take it to that point, okay? So the next thing, I am going to use my marker, light it so you guys can see what we did. Okay, so that's that for our for our blouse. Okay, so the next thing now, we want to cut this out. Remember, my back pattern actually did not cut it, but this one I want to cut it so that you guys can see how it is being cut. So you can see, so I'm going to cut it like this, and then this armhole, I will cut it like this. Okay, most times, like I said, I normally add, even when I'm cutting it, I normally come up a little bit. I usually don't cut it on that exact line. Okay, I'll come up a little bit, because princess that has different kind of tricks that you need to use, or else it's not going to come out well. Okay, so I just come up a little bit, so those ones, they actually help all those small small excesses that goes out of it. It actually helps me to fill them all up. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, I want to cut this. Okay, so this particular pattern of princess, that is a beautiful pattern. Okay, so the next thing, I am just going to take this, and then I'll cut it like this. If you notice I actually still did not cut it on my exact line. I'll just give it a little bit. So with that, when I am transferring to my fabric, I'm not adding any allowance again. Okay, so this is my neckline. I would cut this off. So once I'm cutting, I will not cut it on that exact point. I'll just come up a little bit. So this is our pattern. Can you see? At the end of the day, can you see how it looks? You see how it looks? Okay, no, this is it. You see, can you see how it looks? So that's our front pattern, and then this is our back pattern. So that is all for our class today. So for those of you that don't know, like I said, our live streams are Monday, Tuesday. Okay, the plunge, oh, and I've cut it out already. Let me see. Okay, so the plunge part of our neckline, like I said, use 3 inches. You don't want the neckline to be too wide, because it's deep, so it's not meant to be too wide. If it is too wide, it will start falling. So we use 3 inches. That's from this part, and then it was supposed to stop at the under bust. This is our under bust line. If you notice, actually, we marked it. I actually marked it up to the under bust, but while I was cutting, if you notice, I did not cut it on the exact under bust line. I came up just a little bit, like a quarter of an inch, and then cut it from the top. Okay, so you see the difference. I did not cut it from here. I just came up a little bit. So that will help to balance up everything. If not, if you cut it from that exact point, by the time you stitch, it will come down a little bit more than that under bust part. Okay, so I hope you got that. Blessing, thank you so much for joining. Ladun, thank you so much. All right, thank you. I hope you got it. So like I said, our live streams are Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 7 p.m. sharp. So that is what we're going to be doing this year. So like, no, I'm not doing afternoon live stream again, because I am very, very busy. Let me not go and injure myself. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. God bless you all. Solange, thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. All right. Bye, bye, bye. How to sew it? One of these days we'll do that one. I'll just show you guys how to sew it on the machine, how to join it. So like I said, most of our live streams are strictly pattern drafting. If you want to improve and, but like this year we're going to change things up a little bit. I'm going to do some little sewing. Okay, so thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless you all. Bye. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those of you that will join, you guys should like the video, Biko.